Hello and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Video Mastermind, where we bring you professionals who share insight into the latest trends, tips, industry, technology, and services to help you create more videos to use in your mortgage business.
So Ginger, what are we talking about today?
So first of all, I am at the lovely secret headquarters of Frank Garay.
Not anymore.
Yeah. It's good to have you here, Ginger.
I'm glad to
Yeah,
be
you
here.
came down from Oregon and
I was in
Sacramento
Sacramento yesterday speaking at the APM Summit, and then we're in San Ramon tomorrow. So Vacaville's on the way.
So you're going to start heading down to San Ramon?
Yeah.
You're going to spend the night there and do your gig?
Yep.
Then you go home after that?
Yeah. So tonight, go after that. And I think, is it tonight? Tomorrow night, I think I'm going to have dinner with Rob Chrisman.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Get to see all my California.
He's a good guy, man. He's been doing a lot for the industry for a long time. He's been such a great voice.
Yep.
Such a great voice for the industry.
Yep. You know, it's interesting. As I'm doing these sessions, I'm doing 3 live sessions a day for APM. And so part of my session I'm doing is obviously talking about video, and what came up is newsjacking. So it's one of the things I talked about, and I put under newsjacking, hey, June is home ownership month,
right?
The entire month. And so during each of my sessions, I'm asking by show of hands, how many of you were aware that June is homeownership month? And I'm going to ask everyone that's on Facebook or whatever, if you guys type in there, do you know that it's homeownership month? Because out of probably 800 people that I've asked this question to over the last 2 weeks, two have known that it's homeownership month.
Well, I didn't know till you brought it up. I didn't know there was one.
So a little history on it. 1995, Bill Clinton passed Homeownership Week. So National Homeownership Week.
Really?
I don't know what the president has to do in order to, decree something to be a national thing. But Clinton did that. And then I think it was like 2001, President Bush made it the whole month of June.
Really?
Yep.
But now we're down to one day? No, it's a whole month.
It's a whole month.
It's a whole month now still.
It's a whole month of June. And so, one of the things, just as I'm, having an aha moment, and Scott, I think I had told you, it's like, I think I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning last week when I was in LA thinking, it's like, my gosh, we need to totally flip the script on what we're talking about and stop talking about mortgages and start talking about homeownership.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's a different conversation.
It is a different conversation. And as a mortgage engineer, you need to be a part of that conversation, obviously. But that's what people are interested in, is the home, not the loan.
Right.
Obviously.
Well, and it's more relevant now than ever before, because affordability is really the crux of the conversation, with interest rates going up so quickly and inventory still being, beyond a lot of people's, just really, really tight. So people never stop wanting to be a homeowner. And the fact that we have all this kind of, let's call it chaos in the market, this is when people really need answers, right? And they don't, because if you hit the headlines, if you hit all of the Bloombergs and the CNNs and all of this, it's blood in the streets. There's no silver lining in any of those news stories. I saw a Housing Wire article yesterday that said that the mortgage ice age is upon us. And
Seriously?
It's like
ice age?
Yes. Yeah. And I just saw the headline, didn't even bother to click on it because I was so disgusted. But like when you talk about newsjacking, you're like, really? Is that really what's going on? Or do you want to understand it from this perspective? Right? There are still opportunities. The one thing we said after the crash, and I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and Frank, you've been in this business forever. Lenders lend, and they will always find a way to lend. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's not 30-year fixed today, right? So now we're starting to see ARMs coming back. There used to not be a big difference between an ARM and a 30-year fixed as far as interest rates and pricing. But now you've got like a full point difference on a 5 or 7 year ARM. And that's a really good decision right now to get into this market. So yeah, no, there's so much to talk about. There's so much talked about, and it sounds like we have the perfect opportunity for 30 days of content about why this is the right time to think about home ownership.
Well, and I think thinking about that conversation too, and extending it beyond, I mean, obviously we talk about videos here, but thinking about what you can do just beyond videos to where, like, if you called your mayor, then I mean, there's got to be a mayor of Vacaville.
There
right?
certainly is.
So call the mayor and say, and say, hey, did you know that June is National Homeownership Month?
How about this? Your local rags, your newspapers, your news outlets. You could be the one letting them know what this month is.
Call the chamber.
Getting interviewed by people.
Getting interviewed.
You're
call the chamber.
Ginger.
What if you called the chamber and we did an event? So here's the thing. I called Friday. I said, okay, I just want to see in California. And I only made a few phone calls. I called Nancy Pelosi's office.
Really?
I did.
Interesting.
But I mean,
I would have called for a different reason, but okay.
But I mean, think about it. If you want to talk to someone about in the state of California homeownership, call your senators, call your congressmen. I called and I got a call back from one of the congressmen, and I'll tell you who it was. It was McNeary's, Congressman McNeary's office. And he had an article on his blog talking about homeownership from a couple months ago. So I said, okay, here's a guy that's obviously interested in homeownership in his community. So I called his office and just, said, hi. I didn't tell him I was from Oregon, but apparently with the 503, who knows? And I just said, hey, June is National Homeownership Month. Obviously homeownership is important to you. I read your article, really appreciate it. Love to have an opportunity to have a conversation with you. By the way, we're looking at doing some events in the area and would love to invite you. Their office called me back. I said, thank you for the call. We will make the congressman aware of, June being National Homeownership Month, and whatever events you have, please let us know and we will put it on his calendar and make sure that he's there.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So now let's take it to the next step, which is obviously, oh, really? I did that in the month of May before the month of June, which is national. So now I've got it all set up. So now I can actually start my video marketing, letting everybody know that it's National Homeownership Month in June. We're having events and Congressman so-and-so is probably going to be there. And we're going to talk about this, that, and the other thing.
Have a builder. I mean, driving in here,
have a builder,
new construction,
a lender, a real estate company. You could even go further. You could go to like, a pest company guy or whatever, anybody that's related to a real estate transaction.
Just your local, I mean, anyone, your city council members, I would call, I mean, this is what I would do. I would call your local chamber because they haven't had live events for a while. I'm sure they would love to host something.
My little dog tends to think he's a grizzly bear at times. hey.
Get a bite at the heels. They're going to be
those guys
good.
alone.
So, but call the chamber and, say, hey, it's National Homeownership Month and would love to be able to do an event in the community. Would you host it? Because they have an incredible list. Get the businesses involved because homeownership in your area helps what? Businesses, right? I would put a panel together and I would get the mayor involved. I would get some, councilmen involved. I'd get a builder involved. I'd get, a couple realtors involved. I would make an entire panel and then call the news, call the radio station, call the newspaper, hold it at a hotel. They'll probably give you a room for free or the chamber will. And I would make a huge event out of it. And then the video surrounding it and everything, right?
Great idea.
I would put myself
It's
right
a really
in the
good
center
idea.
of it.
It's terrific.
Yeah, I would even try to stretch it out a little bit more than that. City Hall probably has conference rooms. The local library, but
The libraries
what if you
have great ones.
What if you got together your realtor partners, your insurance people, your home warranty people, and what if you did live classes every weekend in June? So every Saturday in June,
I like that idea.
and have the local, like you said, the local councilman, the mayor, put it out on all of their channels and all of their publications, and putting it on their website, and just do we used to do 2-hour homeownership, first time home buyer courses, and make it all about the community. Yep. Right. Make it all about that community. And these are all amazing ideas, and they're not going to cost you anything. You'll get donations for food, and the local restaurant might donate sub sandwiches or whatever.
Yeah.
You're the connector here. That's it.
It's a flippin' brilliant idea. This is a really good mortgage video mastermind call today. I mean, if you're watching this or whatever, start putting this together, because it's only today the 11th or 10th? What is today?
Today's
the 11th.
It's only May 11th. You've got ample time to start putting something together. And maybe if it's not every Saturday, like Scott said, which is amazing, even if you just get the one event done, you know what I mean? Just the one would be an amazing thing. It would be really, really great. And I love the fact that you guys are bringing up, you get a restaurant to sponsor some sandwiches or something like that. You know what I mean? How cool is that? What a great idea. And then now you're getting in with the restaurant owner as well, or there's potential for referral business and all of that. I think it's really
so here's
idea.
the thing. So you record a video, and Scott, this goes to back in November, we had the whole food drive thing, right?
Yep.
That you had talked about with the guy in, I think, New Jersey that did that, right?
I think it was Northern California.
Oh, was it Northern California? Okay. But I mean, so take it to the next level, talking about homelessness, and you could do something within your community within the month, and go to, a local homeless shelter or someone that does something, because what's the opposite of homeownership? Homelessness.
Yeah.
And it's a huge problem. I mean, Oregon, it's a huge problem. California, Austin, I mean, huge. So that would be something else that I would do. So I would put together a whole plan, which, by the way, just so you know, next Tuesday. So if you're listening to this on a recording, I'm sorry, but for those of that are live, and we'll post some things on it too. Frank and Bill Halstead and I are doing a webinar on how to do buying and selling in today's markets. And so we're going to put some stuff together for Homeownership Month in there too. But that's a whole nother thing to think about, just doing a webinar. And I love your first time home sellers
on-demand video.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah. I got my first registrant too. It just literally got launched.
Yay.
I think it got launched technically last weekend, and I've already gotten my first registrant reached out to the person. We're starting to talk to each other right now, but there you go. It worked. Google ad.
A Google ad.
Did it on Google ad. And just again, I'm going to emphasize the power of Fiverr. Okay. I found a gal on Fiverr who is an ex Google Ads employee, who now she specializes in helping people. She'll put your ads together, completely put it together. Listen to this. She'll put your Google ad completely together perfectly. And she does it so, like, you don't write the ad. It's like Google writes the ad for you based on what you're trying to do and what it's gathering. It's like a dynamic kind of ad thing, right? She knows how to do that. And then not only does she do that, what she does for you is she monitors and improves it for an entire week. So she gets it up and running and then stays on it for an entire week, dialing in, perfecting it. Guess how much?
Oh my gosh.
$422.
Nice.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
That's almost impossible not to get a return on that.
It's you're right. I mean, to have an expert like that helping you. Anyway, I digress. But once again, Fiverr, an amazing resource.
Well, and that's it. Just, through the different resources, and part of it is knowing what the pieces are as well. So I mean, kind of unpacking that, what that looks like.
Yeah.
But then once you have that, because you don't have to have someone on your team full time that specializes in that.
No, sorry. You're at the Garay house. And this guy's the boss. He's the king. Apparently.
Okay, I am in charge. Okay, and now we're going to talk about
Well, so I mean, you bring up a really good point with this, and I kind of want to continue to focus on the hyper local aspect of this homeownership month, because you will get lost and you will be irrelevant if you are just out there talking about homeownership. Right. But if you're talking about homeownership in a community in your backyard, you've got hyper local keywords, you've got city names, you've got local celebrities and or influencers and people in the community. And when it comes to targeting, Facebook or Google ads or YouTube ads, you have a tight geographic circle that you're not going to have to spend a lot of money to let everybody know what events you're holding, what kind of awareness, what kind of videos you want to show them within a 20 to 20 mile radius of City Hall. All of those things really contribute to amplifying your conversion on those efforts. So the big thing that I love about this as we're talking about this is that keeping it local aspect of this is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. You know, so many of us think the internet one to many, but it is so much more powerful as a sniper rifle than it is as a shotgun.
Yeah.
And always.
Well, that's what people are searching for as well. And the other thing with the hyper local is it gets other people sharing it. So if you're, showcasing a restaurant and you're doing, they're giving food, and you make a video and you share it on your Facebook page and their Facebook page or their Instagram, whatever that is. And then it helps expand for them, for their network, but then also people see it that's outside your network.
Well, and as a loan officer, I would be driving to the next county and getting my referral partners and the mayor in that city. And I would be setting these things up within my, several county area, potentially, that all have a mayor. If it has a mayor, you can do this strategy.
Yeah, and you don't even need a mayor. I mean, you become the mayor. It's like Gary Vee, right? You're the digital mayor of your town. And, if you can't get the mayor, you are the mayor, and you just surround yourself in the middle of that. Bill talks about that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to be able to just do that. So, figure out who are the players. So we had last week, I think it was in Seattle, we had people from Hawaii. And I talked about, my session, June Homeownership Month, and I make them write down, okay, who do you know? I want you to write one name now, right? Just write it down. Who you know that you can call. You can say, I'm going to do a video. It's National Homeownership Month, and I'd like to be able to talk about homeownership. So I got from Hawaii, and I asked people to share. So she knows a very popular surfer, and I can't remember who his name is, but he's starting to run for politics from Hawaii.
Surfer.
Who's going to run for politics?
Interesting.
Yeah. In Hawaii.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
she was so excited, and she has a friend who knows this person personally. She'd already sent it. He's already agreed to do the video, because in Hawaii, homeownership, huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huge problem. I talked to someone from APM last night. It was funny. They came up to me. It's like, oh my gosh, do you know how this has grown from that one person that you said, write down one name? And it's gotten to be, they've got things that are going on that are absolutely like exploding now because of that one person. And so if you find that one person who's an influencer, all you have to do is put yourself in the middle of the storm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it grows.
What does Carl always say is find a parade and step in front of it.
Yeah.
yeah. So you find
somebody else's parade.
Yeah.
And anytime, especially when it comes to politics, anytime that you can make a politician look good or make him look like they are, helping their community, they're going to listen. They're going to pay attention. We've had, we used to do when I worked with Patriots and Paws a lot. It was a veterans charity, and we would do softball games with the Veterans Hospital, and we would have two groups of people from the Veterans Hospital playing softball games, and we had like not local congressmen, but US congresswomen, woman come out and announce the softball game and introduce everybody. And she's a very, very big wig on a very high level committees in Washington. And she absolutely came out and supported it. So don't like to your point, Ginger, don't be afraid to reach out to these politicians. They're always looking for an excuse to do something positive for the community that has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah, they have an agenda to get in front of their constituents. And it's a lot of areas people are running right now. I mean, it's election time.
Yep.
And so even though June's going to be after the election for a lot, because I know in Oregon it's in May, it's still having an opportunity to have those conversations.
It reminds me of Carl White, Marketing Animals, of course. And a big part of the animals daily success plan is, of course, going after referral partners, realtor partners, right? And we've seen it so many times on Loan Officer Breakfast Club, talking to loan officers. It's like, I don't want to go for the big agent because there's no way I'm going to get the big agent, right? But then when they go for the big agent, they're the ones that say, sure, let's get coffee. Yeah, let's have a conversation. And it's a lot of it is just nobody's asking the big agent because they think they're the big agent and nobody's going to talk to them, right? But the same thing with these Congress people and these big shots that you want to get involved in these things. You might think, well, they're not going to want to get involved with something like this. They do.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised who you could probably get to show up at these events.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that feeds into another one of my favorite stories from Carl is sit next to the prettiest girl in class because everybody's intimidated to talk to her. Yeah. So go right up to her.
The Carl quote.
Yes, and the lovely Mrs. White is the evidence of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, this is.
He sure does.
I love it.
Yeah.
So June Homeownership Month. I mean, honestly,
it started now.
It started now. Don't wait.
About that.
Oh,
my phone thought we were talking to it.
Well, and start
I don't know.
and
I don't know what
anybody
you're
that's
about.
and anybody that's listening to this, let's start sharing ideas in the Facebook group, in the Mortgage Video Mastermind group. Start sharing your ideas, sharing your wins and your successes, because we didn't have this planned out, but as we started talking about it, we're like piling on and building on and expanding all of these ideas, and just share these ideas because we're all going to be able to benefit. And somebody's going to come up with something and have a super cool win. And it's going to inspire somebody else to go and have that same and try to do that same win. So
everybody's looking for something right now to be, stand out. Marketing is so important right now. And I always say, now's the time you double down. Everything was busy, refi market, that's great. But now you dig in and you figure out what you need to do to be able to strengthen those relationships with your realtors. This is a great way to do that. Mm-hmm. And to build up in your community, because that's how you're going to continue to thrive throughout, what we're coming to, which is a very normal market. We are coming into really that stabilized, very normal market. And so,
and quite frankly, you have time to do it right now. So take advantage of that. It's a gift.
Yep.
It's a gift that you have a little bit of breathing room and start working on building these foundational things that are going to elevate you in any market moving forward.
And focus on what you can control. You can't control rates. You can't control what's going on in the market. You can't control what, properties are for sale or not for sale or anything like that. What you can control is what you focus on and where you're spending your time and your attitude. Those are things that you can focus on.
It's true. Yeah,
that's all you can control is you. So that's
so true. So true. And I do believe we're seeing a turn. I think we are going to be seeing a turn in the market. That you were talking about those headlines, Scott, earlier. You're like, oh my God, just like so brutal. But I was looking, I'm still the real estate news junkie. I look at real estate news every single day because I did it professionally for 15 years. I cannot stop. But there's articles I saw today. There was an article, I forget who had it. It might have been NAR or something. But there's actually 3 pretty big metro areas that are showing for the first time more listings than sales. Mm-hmm. And one was Sacramento, one was Austin, Texas, and I think the other one was LA. And so they're starting to see that also, we're starting to see price reductions increase across the board.
Mm.
A year ago, they were about 9% for the month of May, for the month of April, right? And this year, 15%.
Oh,
So price reductions, obviously, shot a little high there. I'm not just going to get anything I throw on the sticker, it's like, okay, maybe I got to bring it down,
yeah.
So
And
that's
well,
happening. And inventory is definitely on the rise. Mike Simonson, who owns Altos Research,
Yep.
just released an article, and he pointed out that nationally we're seeing an uptick in inventory across the board nationally. I track my local markets, and I'm seeing increase in inventory every single week going up. So the point being, like to what you were saying, Ginger, we are going to be moving into a more normalized market here.
yes.
And now is the time to get our head down, focus, do these types of things. And you said it earlier too, Ginger, the fact that COVID knocked out events for so long and now they're coming back. This National Homeownership Month and these ideas that are getting kicked around right now, it's the perfect storm. It's actually, the market is the perfect force right now to hit it now as it's starting to make its turn, right? We've got the ability to do these events now, and we have the prowess and the means through your help and with understanding what type of video I should be releasing and, how to market this and that type of thing. It's a perfect time to really get on the stick with,
really is.
this. It's a really great idea. Next month is a huge month for us if we really capitalize. It's National Homeownership Month. I love it. And you're right. Everybody's interested in the home. Nobody's interested in the loan. The loan is just something we need to get the home, but what they're interested in is the home.
It's the mortgage is a byproduct.
Right.
And nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh gosh, I really want a mortgage today.
Well, and
they do want to
search mortgage rates for fun.
Well, and quite frankly, the most questions and the most important questions are about qualifying for that mortgage. Even though it's a necessary evil, it is the single biggest pivotal point in whether you become a homeowner or not. So consumers are looking for somebody that can help them answer those questions, right?
And educate them, like you said, like you're saying, educate them. You brought up arms now are looking good. I think you brought that up on this call. But again, back Real Estate News Junkie, there's an article today. Arms are at their highest. Arm origination is at its highest level in 14 years.
Yep.
Because now they're plausible. Now you're right. Before it was like, why would I get an arm?
Lenders weren't aggressive on them. Lenders backed off on them, but lenders lend. They have money. They got to lend it.
Love that. Lenders lend.
And so they're going to create a product that's going to fit this market. There's no reason to panic. You just got to pay attention.
And it's a great opportunity to do a video explaining what an arm is.
Yes.
And how it works. Because a lot of people, how long has it been, 15 years since we've seen a lot of arms? Then let's talk about what is an arm,
Well, and the important words around there are
2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 year.
Yeah. And the important words are demystifying and myths. 3 myths about adjustable rate mortgages, demystifying adjustable rate mortgages. This is juicy content, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Don't miss the myths.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's a strategy I wanted to bring up too that goes all along with this too. And it came up on Breakfast Club yesterday was Kevin Gillespie was on the call. And they're introducing, this is a great video to get to your realtor partners right now. Listen to this. So here it is. So rates are up, right? So less buyers can afford your house today, Mr. Seller, which is at its peak. Okay. Maybe what you can do is offer a buy down rate for buyers, right? So if you're willing to, instead of reducing a price by $20,000, like price reductions are increasing right now, right? People aren't getting everything they want. Instead of reducing your price 20 grand, why don't you just contribute 10 grand toward buying down the rate of the buyer? Now you're only 10 grand out of pocket. And now you've really got now you're getting a buyer's getting a lower rate than everybody else because he's got 10 grand going toward the buy down of the rate. Kind of a neat strategy there.
I like that strategy.
Yeah.
It also, a couple of things that does. First of all, it opens the market for somebody who could be a first time home buyer.
Right.
Second, it kind of takes off the table the cash buyers, which have been going in and buying a lot of markets. And if you're talking about community and keeping home ownership in a community
Right.
outside of these big conglomerates,
Right.
then
You can help this way.
and that would be a strategy to talk about in a maybe first time home seller webinar.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, to pull in another one of the really important people in our business is the mortgage coach community. Is really, really on top of that seller buy down strategy. Scott Nicholson is a good friend of mine. He's been teaching that in the mortgage coach community for a long, long time. And that tool is specifically set up to really show the benefit of the seller buy down strategy. I agree with you, Frank. I wouldn't necessarily recommend buyers buy down interest rates today, but if you can get the seller to keep selling at their maximum price, it maximizes the commission for the agents. And it gives because quite frankly, that first reduction is going to really slow things up, and it's going to make people keep bidding lower and lower and lower.
That's
you don't
right.
want to start that
That's
ball
what
rolling.
happens. It is what happens.
You don't want to start that ball rolling.
Then all of a sudden everybody's like, well, why'd they reduce that price? Well, there must be something going on.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
I tell you guys know I do a little real estate on the side. That happened to me. That did happen to me.
Yeah.
They had
So now you list it with
fence, and it was like, we might be a little up, and then we had to bring it down. Then it was like, there's something wrong with that house. There's nothing wrong with this house.
Right.
Yep. So market it with the $10,000 to buy down the buyer's rate.
Buy down the rate. Yeah.
Yep. Nobody's going to question that.
Interesting stuff.
I love it.
Yep.
Always fun to be here.
Okay, so a couple of things. You know,
Mhm.
you mentioned Breakfast Club a couple times.
Yes.
So every morning,
Monday through Thursday. It's at
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So for us on the West Coast,
It's early.
it's a little bit early, but you'll be surprised. We had a gal tune in from Hawaii.
Nice.
Ooh, that's
Many
3 hours. 5 hours
in the morning.
time.
Wow.
Tune in to Breakfast Club. But yeah, 5:30 on the West Coast. But let me tell you something. What else a Breakfast Club is, it's like Carl says this, and he's right. It's a gift to the mortgage industry. It's like you feel like you need a game plan, to get something going in the right direction and do it in a real honest way that's actually truly going to work and get you some business. Just tune in for free into Loan Officer Breakfast Club every morning. It's only 30 minutes. We get on, we talk about things we need to do today. And it's really a cool conversation. Everybody's talking about, it's like this call.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what we just did here today. You know what I mean? But it's every day at, 30 minutes.
And it's always different people, right?
Oh,
A lot of different folks.
We just passed 8,000 members on our Facebook page, 8,000 members.
Nice.
And we'll typically, at least 200 will be on every morning on the Zoom call. But a lot of times we'll get close to 300 on the Zoom call. It just depends, on who wants to wake up.
It's a lot of brain power.
It's really cool. I would highly recommend it.
So we'll drop the link down below to
Sure.
join because it's Facebook group, right?
Well, it's a Zoom call link, or it's a register. You can register for the Zoom call, which I really think the Zoom call is the better. You can do both. If you go to the Facebook group, we'll put them both down there.
Yeah.
We'll just put them both down there.
I'll put them both down.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, June Homeownership Month, and then also put the registration for our webinar we're doing next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
See you, Scott. Hope you feel better, brother.
See you guys. I'm good.
Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next week.
See
All
ya.
right.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.